Yeah, but I post the live stream, not the recording.
No, but I mean, like the live stream, it's delay when you are watching it, but it starts from the second you hit go.
Not if you use YouTube to manage the broadcast. The 10-second delay is built in as it builds the stream.
So it just cuts 10 seconds off the beginning?
Yeah, because it's starting the broadcast. Like I switched, it's still like doing a little thing on the. Also, hi everybody, this is Winnie Wriggle.
Hi, I am Physics. No, I'm super curious because like that's what I thought, but then I thought when I rewatched it that it just went ahead and started, like it buffered that 10 seconds, but then it's just like what you're hearing me say this second is 10 seconds later for somebody viewing.
Correct.
So it still starts.
I have a 10-second delay built in. But I use OBS to manage I click manage broadcast, not start streaming. So it takes it a second so I can put a thumbnail and a description and everything in there. Does that make sense? There's a manage broadcast button.
Right. Yeah, I always go into YouTube and set everything up there, and then
you go live from YouTube. Yeah, I go live from OBS.
Yeah, I hit streaming from OBS.
Oh yeah.
And it does a handshake with YouTube and says, "This is what we're feeding you now."
Yeah, you hit the streaming button, I hit the manage broadcast button because sometimes I want to schedule it to start. I want to get all my stuff set up and say just schedule it to start 10 minutes from now or something. That makes sense. Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, good morning. Happy Friday, everybody.
I had a fish on the line.
Good morning, Koala. Good morning, Dan.
Hi, guys.
Well, set expectations. It's going to be a short stream today. Probably like an hour. Because life has become crazy in the last 24 hours. I have family coming into town, so I have to run to the airport and grab my sister and her family, which is fun. But my mother, in all of her wisdom, decided to have new countertops installed in her kitchen 2 days before she had a house full of people. So there's a lot of chaos involved with that. And my friend Physics here is key in making that place. Fixing the things that need to be fixed. Good morning, Kurt.
Yeah. I got an emergency message being like, help, emergency, call me now. I need you to fix drywall.
It's the only time in my life I've heard I need the drywall repaired as an emergency.
No, I've been there actually.
Yeah.
I had the same thing happen. I had bought a new vanity. I had to repair my house that got water damaged, and I ended up scheduling a vanity to be installed. And when I unboxed it, I realized the plumbing didn't match.
Oh dear.
So the night before, or the day before, I was able to call out for an emergency plumber to come do it. And the guy was actually like on the verge of retirement. And he's like, I think you're going to be the last person I do before I like retire to the Dominican Republic. So he came out and did the plumbing, but that meant the whole back of the wall was just gone. So I had all night to be able to fix the drywall to put the vanity in front of it. So, but I had basically 24 hours or 12 hours. But
oh my god!
Your mom was like, "You have till 10 a.m. tomorrow, and I'm going to bed in like an hour." It was like, I can't get I can't get mud to dry that fast.
Nope.
What about a hair? And
this
she's
is
like, well, what about?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
This is after I explained to her, because she called me in the panic. She's like, this and this and that and that. And there's a hole in the drywall. And I was like, okay, here's the plumber's name, or here's the electrician's name to fix an electrical thing. I was like, and Fizicks can probably come over and start on the drywall. But I warned her. I said, it's drywall, Mama. It takes days. If you want it done right, it takes days. And Fizicks is a very do it right kind of person. That was a really nice way of saying OCD, right?
Right. I tipped my hat.
You have a
that.
high level of attention to detail when it comes to projects like that, which we all love. Like literally, you moved a whole wall in our house so I could have a bigger refrigerator.
Well, I wanted to remove the wall. It was just too bad it was hiding pipes.
Yeah. It turns out it had the vent to the bathroom downstairs in it. This is why you should always, yeah, you're like, oh, just move that wall. Yeah, you need to open it up and see what's in it.
It was still could be moved.
Yeah. I just will never forget the sight of you and Buddy standing in the kitchen discussing the like 10 different options for how to move a pipe 6 inches to the left. Because it had a weird bend in it to begin with, right?
Well, it's a vent, and there's code about like what kind of angle you can and can't have when venting bathroom air.
Yeah.
And
bathroom air. Speaking of bathroom air, what is in our refrigerator that smells like farts?
Brussels sprouts that I didn't get to eat because your mom called me away.
It's terrible.
The whole car smelled like farts. I was so sad.
God. I opened the fridge and thought I was going to pass out. I was like, what was that? Brussels sprouts. That explains it.
Yeah. No, that was going to be my dinner, but no.
That's so sad. Oh, so you were in the middle of eating when she texted you.
Well, I had actually finished eating, but I was enjoying a cup of coffee reading. Because I have a book that I'm enjoying.
Oops, I'm so sorry about ruining your whole relaxing afternoon. I was just like, yeah, call Fizicks. Because I can't sheetrock. Right?
Well, the funny thing is, like, I think your mom fully understands like how wet mud is.
Oh, now she does. Tell me what happened.
I was going through and showing her all the things that happened, and she didn't realize there was like a gap underneath her. There's an island, and there was like this 1/4-inch gap that they left on that island between the drywall and the countertop. Mm-hmm. And so I was pointing it out, and she just shoves her fingers into the wet mud, and I was totally by accident, but I'm like, well, now you understand how wet it is. And then she's like, well, can you fix that? And it's like, no, once it starts like drying, I'm just gonna have to repair it later, because if you touch it, it'll just get worse. It'll yeah. And I'm like, nope,
can't touch it. Gotta wait till it's dry. Fill in your finger holes.
Yep.
Oh, Kirk asks what book you're reading.
It is The Girls of Atomic Valley or something. It's really interesting. It's about the women that was part of the Tennessee Valley, the Shenandoah, which is actually fairly close to us.
Yep.
And their participation with processing nuclear material, but it was like a huge complex that arose out of the middle of nowhere in Clinton, Tennessee. And it's just about all the secrecy, and that nobody really knew what they were doing. And they would like wanted like high school educated women to come and participate in this like experiment because all the guys were away at war. So it's pretty fascinating.
And they were messing with nuclear stuff?
Right,
Nuclear?
they were the one.
Nuclear. Yeah,
I
nuclear.
can't say it right.
Nuclear is cells in biology. Nuclear is
Nuclear.
big, bada big boom.
Yeah. So what they were doing, they were processing the uranium into P235. Is it?
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Don't quote me. And they called it tube alloy. Like they didn't know what they were actually working on. It was called tube alloy. And there's like for every like 2,000 pounds, they could get like 2 teaspoons.
Wow.
And so there was like these huge buildings after buildings, like just the joke was like everything came in and nothing came out. And literally like there's a few physicists who actually knew what was going on. And even that they didn't have a full concept of like they're trying to build a nuclear bomb. It was just how can you process this better, like and get more per process unit. But yeah, there was like huge encampments and like complete
Were they aware?
secrecy.
Like, were they aware of how dangerous the stuff they were working with was? Or have you gotten to
No,
that
not.
part
I mean,
yet?
like it. There's an incident that happened in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania. No, sorry, Pennsylvania. That was part of that flummoxed people because it was like the tube alloy. Because one of the processing is they turn it into vapor. And so like 3 guys were involved and 2 died immediately. And one guy managed to survive.
Oh my
It was like
God.
complete, like boiled their insides basically. And the Navy doctor had never seen anything like it. Like just the exposure and yeah, it was just bad. But no, like certain people knew how toxic it was, and I mean, but most people there had no idea. They had, I mean, they did have some safety precautions and Geiger counters and stuff like that roaming around. But I haven't read anything yet about the exposure level for the people in the encampment yet. So that'll be curious if they cover that.
Kirk says that sounds really interesting. Have you heard of the Radium Girls? He watched a documentary on them and it was sad.
Yeah, the watchmakers or in general, like, yeah, that is crazy. And it's fascinating, but like, yeah, they knew how it was weird. It's like they knew but didn't know how terrible it was, and that because of profits, they just didn't care about women's lives at all.
Yeah.
Well,
that doesn't sound familiar, like, does it? Has much changed? I don't think much has changed. Sorry. Get my
no. I just listened to a program that was basically men are from YouTube, men watch YouTube and women watch TikTok.
What?
And it was an allegory to talking about how the political views and stances of men and women are diverging. Yeah, it was interesting, and it's actually global. That men are becoming more socially conservative, while women are becoming much more socially liberal.
Interesting.
And
very interesting. Yeah, Kirk says yes. It's the Radium Girls is using radium to paint watch and clock dials.
Yep. And
scary stuff.
Now I'll say to that, like, it makes a lot of sense to me. When I was a young kid, I used to paint sand dollars for fun, and I would do like little ship scenes on them. And to get the fine lines for the sails and the rigging, I would always lick the paintbrush. And that's what the girls would do. They would lick the radium brushes to get the fine detail that they needed for the watches.
Oh.
So they would have, yeah, then like their jaws would disappear and it was awful.
Ugh, that's horrifying.
Yep.
This is the whole I don't want to buy anything sold or bought or make anything bought or sold or sell anything made or sold, right? Oh,
I just, but this is why we have federal regulations and OSHA and safety and
yeah. You've had some experience in large manufacturing environments about OSHA stuff.
yes,
And
I was in
people
charge
not
of
being
projects and
people not being compliant. Why do we have to wear long sleeves? Well,
or they force people to wear long sleeves because they're on the yard, but they're out digging a ditch nowhere near mechanical stuff in 128-degree heat.
that's not good.
And like even like in Texas, there's no laws that that forces companies to allow water breaks.
Oh, that's terrible.
And yeah,
Well, that's why our friend Tom, a huge part of the reason he quit a couple of jobs ago, he worked in a place that manufactured things. And that summer, and it's up in Jersey, and that summer, the facility has no air conditioning. And that summer, where they had above 100-degree weather, the bosses refused to let them switch their schedules to be a morning schedule, like to come in at 6 a.m. instead of 9. You know, to switch the day so they didn't have to work through the hottest part of the day. Because they didn't want to get up and come unlock the building. Like, really? I'm not saying that's the only reason he quit, but I'm saying it was an impetus. Driving factor. What are you drinking this morning? Some like pre-noon drinking happening over here? Oh, she's parched. 2 of them. She's thirsty, ladies and gentlemen. She's working hard. She's got to go back over to the mama's house and finish sheetrocking today while I go to the airport. Kirk says, technically we have those things if certain groups didn't gut them. Yes, the regulations. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, there's a case in the Supreme Court right now that's going to overturn Chevron, which allows the authority of Congress to be passed down to like EPA and other regulatory regulatory agencies to actually implement the law. And basically the Supreme Court is going to say that no, Congress is going to be the only one who can implement. They can't hand over that regulatory power to anybody else, which means that like a bunch of agencies are going to get gutted and will have no authority.
Oh, so they're removing the transfer of authority from a Supreme Court case to the places where it's implemented. Is that what you're saying?
No, they're taking away. So there's a Supreme Court case called Chevron that gave that codified Congress to be able to allow organizations set up by Congress to have authority to regulate.
Okay, so Chevron is the reason that the EPA can impose fines and regulations, for example.
Right. Yeah, that's just the name of the case.
That's what I mean.
But there's a new case up in front of the Supreme Court that they're considering that's going to basically gut the Chevron case and make it no longer valid, which means that EPA and other organizations won't have regulatory authority. That Congress, if they want that, they have to be much more specific about how they write laws. They can't write broad laws and say, hey, you're the knowledge base for this particular thing. It's like, no, the Congress will now have to be that knowledge base and create more specific laws instead of just saying, hey, as an agency, you can regulate these things.
So they're going to let politicians write laws about scientific and other regulations that require expertise.
Correct, which is really what our Constitution says, but they didn't say you couldn't delegate that authority to people who know more.
Right? Because people who know more is the logical place to give the responsibility of actually creating the regulation. Oh, unless you don't believe in science.
Well, it's more like they believe that these regulatory agencies have overstepped their bounds. And I just think that, yeah, and this, and it has to do with the fishing industry.
Bounds. Yeah, they're freaking business owners are just tired of paying money to put in, smoke filters in restaurants, that kind of thing. They don't want to spend the money. Why does it always come down? I'm so disgusted by greed. I'm absolutely disgusted by it.
Yeah. I wish there was a balance, a consideration of like what's good for society and health and well-being.
There is. It's called regulatory agencies and laws and science. Like the fact that what's so frustrating is we struggle. It's like swimming, upriver during a flood to try to get any regulation in place.
See, that's my favorite example for the EPA. Before the EPA was given its authority, we actually had fires on rivers because of the toxicity and the
nobody
pollution.
Remembers the 70s, I don't think. Do you remember what the sky looked like over major cities in the mid 70s? It was brown. The brown cloud over every city. Do you know why we don't have brown clouds over most cities anymore? Freaking because we added regulations. Oh my God.
And it actually creates jobs and wealth.
I guess we're all going to die of pollution before I'm even 80. Like, what the hell? Blow up the planet? Yeah. Kirk says he can't start it. He'll never stop. He disagrees so strongly with it. Yeah. I'm.
With what? He disagrees with?
The Chevron case passing and the lack of regulatory authority. I'm assuming. That's what he's saying. He agrees with us.
Yeah.
That this is a disaster. Yeah. And this is the consequence of this current court.
Mm-hmm. I mean, this has been the far right is basically they don't believe government should have any say so, really. They just want to cut the knees out from under regulatory agencies. They see them as ultimately bad. And I'm not saying they're 100% good. There's a lot of things that being involved with OSHA and stuff like that, it sometimes created bad behaviors because it was too odious. Sometimes some things that were designed to make things safer made it unsafe because it made the work harder in a way that I don't know how to just couldn't. Yeah, it made the work harder in a way that if you had some flexibility on how you can enact safety measures, it would have made more sense. But it goes back to you can't use some common sense approaches. But in most cases, I would say 98%, it made sense. But I did have a big fight the other way too, which is that sometimes you don't want to overdo safety precautions because it may make people think that something they're working with is toxic or bad for them when in fact that it's not. And that can create fear and stress unnecessarily for workers.
You can also do the opposite where they've done enough and they've implemented safety measures and they get complacent about their safety because they feel a false sense of security. You know, that's
True.
what I think you were saying the other day, that one of the dangers of working around big machines is forgetting that there is getting comfortable with big machines and forgetting that they are big machines.
Oh yeah, we had a local person get killed from a one of the car washing systems.
Oh yeah,
They
this is
walked
here
past
locally.
yeah, they and that's why I was saying is like you just get used to having those big machines and moving parts, and they got entangled. And
Yeah. Koala says politicians should not have total control. I 100% agree with that. Kirk says Congress, the law is going downhill, and the Supreme Court in general. Those are the things he's frustrated with.
I 100% agree with that.
100%. Yep. You're preaching to the choir, my friend.
I'm fascinated by the law, and so Winnie has to hear my tirades all the time. But it's also the minutia is really fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know. my big solution is that I think like every 100 years we should do away with all laws except for like agreed to foundational set, and maybe it's like 1,000 or something, you know. But we have so many contradictory, weird, crazy takes that it makes it hard to weed through. And sometimes I think you just need a fresh start.
Yeah, except for all the the time and labor required, and I just mean personal labor time required to implement new laws is no joke.
No.
Like it's insane. So I think you could get to the point where you basically haven't recreated the useful laws within 10 years and then you're throwing them away. Like people would find ways to never get new laws made.
I guess, but
Like
I mean,
they
part
would
of the
find ways
problem
to
is
delay them.
it's like in most states, like let's use the example of homosexuality. It's still against the law on the books in most states. It's just they can arrest you for it, but they can't prosecute you for it. So if somebody wants to harass you in law, and they can legally do that, arrest you or detain you,
but there's no prosecuting.
But they can't prosecute you, right?
I gotcha.
And so that's where it takes too much time and effort to scrape those laws off the books.
Oh, like, so they're still there. Yeah.
Well,
that's like the classic one we use all the time, which is you can't carry a pair of wire cutters in your pocket in Texas. It was left over from the 1800s where a cattle rustler would cut the barbed wire, right? And so you couldn't prove that they were the ones that stole your cattle or killed your cattle, but if they had a pair of wire cutters, you had reasonable evidence, right? Sorry, I'm rambling, but that's still on the books. And it might be an old wives' tale, but you know. Kirk says the Constitution was meant to be rewritten every 20 years, ? I don't know. I don't think they had any intending. I know that it was intended to be added to, for sure.
It was supposed to be a living, breathing document.
A living, breathing document that changed a lot more rapidly than it has been changing.
Well, and I will say that for society purposes, like movements in government should be slower than that of society. And the benefit to that is you don't have huge swings. And so people know, like businesses know how to act and respond. And it even though it's frustrating, it does benefit society for government to be a little bit behind the times.
Yes. I agree with that. Having worked for government organizations for 20 years. It was frustrating, but also very important.
Because it's like you have a set of rules as businesses that associate with the government and just businesses in general. It's like to be able to conduct. So consistency is a good thing. Like raising
Yeah.
kids, you want to be consistent. You don't want to have them wondering whether or not something's coming out of left field all the time.
Yeah.
It'll make them anxious.
100%. Yeah, the regulations, and this makes me also think of unions and how simultaneously how important unionizing is, while at the same time long established unions can cause difficulties for businesses. And this is all secondhand. One of my siblings works in upper management in the hotel industry, and which is heavily unionized, which is great in terms of providing people benefits, but gets to the point of ridiculousness when you're trying to manage the day-to-day activities of a hotel.
Yeah, I have the same. I have firsthand experience with union and non-union faculty facilities with Caterpillar,
Mm-hmm.
and there is definitely some frustration because I worked with quality control.
Oh boy.
And manufacturing, and so we'd often have to test new techniques and new processes on the line, and to be able to do that was just a nightmare. And even if you talk to people who were on the line that were in charge of that particular process, and they would be great, they would want to help out, but then you would have to go through the union, even though you've carved out and like it's like, hey, we'll provide overtime if necessary. You're like, it was just still going through the union. It was just whether or not they would say yes to the request, like had no rhyme or reason. Like it was kind of like, oh, well, if we approve this, then, then you may want to do something else or this. And it was just a weird situation in union groups, even though there was no negative. Like I couldn't tell there was negative. And finally, when I would finally get stuff done, but I can't imagine like even if there was like a process that was dangerous, like you still had to be like, okay, we need to test out these different setups and to improve workflow, and it would still be so slow.
Yeah.
So there's definitely good and bad. But yeah, my dad had an experience. He sold boats, and he had a conference in Chicago, and he had a laptop with a power cord, and they wouldn't let him plug his laptop into the wall outlet. They had to have a union electrician come to plug his laptop into the wall.
Yep.
And I'm like,
yep. That's the kind of thing.
Yeah, and my my dad's not big on union labor to start with, so that really cemented his vision and opinion of the usefulness of labor unions right there.
Well, and see, and that's the dangerous thing, right? And there's a phrase for it, and I can't remember what it is, but if you study the different kinds of what are called false arguments, the experience of having one negative experience tinging the entirety of, a particular activity like unionizing is very sad, because unions are so important for protecting your right to normal work hours and good pay and all those things. And Kirk says, do none of these folks realize we've already been through the feudal system and it failed? Yeah.
Well, I think like anything, there's a swing, and it depends on leadership. Like leadership really matters. Like if you have corrupt leadership or people who are just self-interested, it can create really bizarre things. And I think that's what part of that with like unions.
Mhm.
They wanted to control everything, like the electrical union, that it got to the point of being absurd. So there's got to be a balance, I think, on anything. My position is transparency.
Yeah.
Like transparency with pay, transparency with expectations. That helps a lot. But I think also the businesses have problems with not treating their personnel as an asset. Like they're disposable items that are, they see them just as a cost and not as a benefit to the company.
Yeah.
Or even a um, like companies only look at the stockholders and the top CEO class, the C-suite, is being beneficiaries of the system, when in fact the workers should be part of that beneficiary structure,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head saying people are a resource, and if you don't treat your resource like an actual asset, like you would your fleet of trucks or warehouses or, software systems, like you'll spend millions and millions of dollars to improve and maintain and update your inventory management software, but you won't give people, their 15-minute break. Like, what the hell?
Yep.
And I think it's because it's easy to take advantage of humans. It's
Well,
the
I mean, and
it's the
if you look at
easiest.
just, yeah, and they do make up a huge cost. Like that's just
Oh yeah,
the reality of it.
people are expensive. They are.
And so if you're only concerned with profit making, then get rid of the people or find the cheapest ones around.
Well, yeah, and that's why they go. Well, like the gaming industry has been going through huge layoffs right now, and it's been a number of years since that happened. And part of the reason that they do that is to get rid of people who've been around long enough to have really high salaries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you give them their early retirement package or let them go with 6 months severance, and you can hire 3 people for the cost that one person was costing you. Like that's large business practice, right? And one of the downfalls of that, like I've talked about this extensively in software development community, and that is you lose the people who have the corporate knowledge to solve the problems that are specific to your company, your industry, your product, whatever. Like there's so many people I know in the software industry who retired or got laid off, like, and they were senior, like over the age of 50 and had been in the industry for more than 30 years. And they got laid off. And then within 2 or 3 months, their companies hired them back as contractors because no one knew how to fix the things that they used to do. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That knowledge had disappeared with them. So in those industries, we talk about, that's a huge problem. You can actually go get your degree in how to help companies save their corporate knowledge. I can't remember the word for it. I'm sorry. Brain is not there today.
Yeah, the corporate knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, but there's a phrase for it. Kirk says he never had the option to join a union. He believes in them strongly. He believes in a right to work state. You can be let go for any reason with no. Oh, his state is a right to work state. You can be let go for any reason with no notice. Yeah, I think that's true across the board. I've never worked anywhere that wasn't that way.
Well, I mean, and it's so funny. It's like the right to work. No, it's the right to be fired with no. It's it really is the right for companies to have
Yeah,
some
yeah.
privacy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what he's saying. You can be let go. You can be fired for any reason with no notice.
Mm-hmm.
He said he watched Tested with Adam Savage. It's also the institutional knowledge. That's the word I'm looking for.
Yes,
Institutional knowledge and the deep skill set to problem solve. It's a huge part of the success of Lucas. I don't know.
Okay. The movies, Lucas in Entertainment, Lucasfilms.
Oh, George Lucas. Okay, yeah.
Well,
yeah, the deep skill set to problem solve. Also, the I just finished. Oh my god, I don't remember the book, but it's about the guy who runs Pixar. Same thing. Like, one of the things that they did was go find. He asked everybody he knew in the industry who he should hire to do the things that they were trying to do. Like, he went out and got the recommendations for the people who had the deep knowledge and the many years of experience. And he basically just offered them more money to come work for Pixar, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Good night, night, Koala. I know it's time for sleepy time. Take care. So you say it's no, you know it's interesting?
What's that?
Go ahead.
The breadth of who they hired, though. It was like, it wasn't just like purely software, purely hardware. It was like artists and modelers, like clay modelers. And so it wasn't overly narrow. It was extraordinarily broad, the skill sets people had, that you'd like, sometimes you'd be like, I don't understand why this would be important, but it created more ingenuity for what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going to say, one of the stories I always liked about is one of your first jobs. You had a ton of responsibility and went to management. To alleviate that. So
yes. So I worked in a university research lab, and like as an admin, I was in charge of payroll. But one of the benefits of working for that lab is I had access to anything I wanted to learn in the lab. That, you know, as long as I got the payroll done every month, I could make use of the facilities to learn whatever I wanted. And we were working on a combination of federal contracts and state contracts for, it was all software development. Like, I think these were focused on education overseas, tracking education records overseas for expats, folks who have moved from America overseas to work temporarily for a couple of years and their kids went with them. And then how do we ensure that their education was following the same, like, so they could be reintegrated back into American schools with the same level of information or something like that. Anyway, the project manager that had been hired to manage the projects was terrible at his job. Like, I have never met anybody who was incapable of understanding basic contract language or work or whatever. And government contracts are really, they're really easy to manage because they're so clearly written. Like, the statements of work are super clear. The deadlines, the deliverables, they all have to be documented thoroughly in the contract. And so as long as you're following what the contract tells you to do, it's not rocket science. Oh no. Oh, wow. Your fishing rod went boom.
I know. Was it
a mending?
It had mending on it. It was a new one that I got. I should have put it in my offhand, but I thought, I'll just fish with it.
Oh yeah. That's sad.
It was all right. It was I just pulled it up. It was a mending lure 2.
That's very sad.
Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, that's okay. I'm rambling. Anyway, he was terrible at his job. So there was another undergrad student working in the lab that I was close to, and he and I both had been making observations about how bad this guy was at his job. And we decided, because, you know, we were young and ambitious, we decided that we would go to the director of the lab and propose, and because I did payroll, I knew how much everybody made. We would propose that she could hire myself and this other young man to do the job that this guy was doing badly. We would do it correctly, and it would save her something to the tune of a third of this guy's salary. Like, she could hire both of us at a huge increase to our pay, but not as much. We wouldn't be making as much as he costs, right? And she would get 2 people for less than what she was paying this guy out of the budget. And so we wrote up a proposal. We documented everything that we believed could be implemented to improve the process for managing the contracts. And I already did payroll, so I already did half the paperwork anyway for the contracts. And that was the other thing that was making me mad, is this guy had been having me do some of it, like, quote unquote, help him out. And what was happening is I was doing his job. And so we went to her and made the proposal, and she was so tickled and excited by us doing this that she immediately fired him, immediately hired the 2 of us, and then carried the proposal around with her for months, showing it off to her government, you know, contracting officers about how 2 grad students had basically taken over her contract management, and that's why they were seeing such an improvement in the deliverables. I mean, bully for us. I mean, I guess some people might get mad that we got an older gentleman who made too much money fired, but you know what? He sucked at his job. So,
Yeah. Well, and there's ingenuity there. Like, you were talking about process improvements, you were talking about actually doing the contract correctly. And honestly, it highlighted a liability for her.
yeah.
So, I mean, and that's the case where you kind of need to fire people.
Yeah, you really do. You know, that's the whole understanding when because
It's a balance.
it's a balance. It's also really important to understand how important it is to make mistakes, I think, too. Like, coming at that from the other side, it's so important to learn, you know, and I think hopefully you're in an environment where making mistakes doesn't cause life-changing things to happen, but sometimes it does, and it's okay. You know, go get the next job. Learn from that past mistake. You know, now I'm taking the guy's side. It's like, he wasn't unintelligent. He just wasn't interested in actually doing his job. You know what I mean?
And I'm sure there's other things going on, and he just didn't make that his job a priority. So
Sure.
as long as he was getting paid, he didn't care.
Yeah, he didn't think that. He thought that talking on the phone to the contracting officer was the job, not getting the deliverables done, like the weekly and monthly reports. You know, and things I learned working for the government for 25 years, the only thing that's important to them is getting the paperwork done. Because that's what they're liable for to their bosses. Here's a little piece of advice for folks. If you're ever trying to get ahead in your career, one of the most important things you can do is go to your boss and figure out how you can help them look good to their boss. Because that is your job, especially when you're talking about anything, not necessarily manufacturing or whatever, but anything desk-based, like computer industry, software industry, data entry, education, whatever. the thing that I learned was if I did a good job making my boss look good, I always succeeded. I always got promoted. Oh, yay, they're finally here. And I'm in third person. Hold on.
So was I.
Come here, you little squirrely flying critter. Is he up on the other roof? Oh, there he is. I also have I have a couple of infinity bows in my pocket for you.
Oh, good.
Did you get it? She just jumps off the building.
I don't see it though. I guess it'll float up to the top.
I mean, there's some XP down here. Got the XP. I don't see a.
No, I don't think it.
I don't think it dropped one. There's a lot of XP. Okay, I gotta swim.
Oh, that might be why. That's probably my XP. That
it was one ball.
Oh, that's probably the one that I couldn't get to and made the thing break. Made my.
Oh, I hear more.
Yep.
That's good. Are they? Oh, here they are.
There's more. I'm heading up.
Yep. Oh, there we
Hey,
go. The rain
buddy.
stopped. One just popped me in the butt.
Yeah, I'll try to get. Where'd he go? There he is.
Come here. Stop being on the roof. Come down here. There we go. There goes one, but I don't know if it dropped anything. What? Seriously, come here.
Oop, there he is. Oop, nope.
There's. So tired we are. Oh, there went one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I got
Good
one.
All right. There's one more.
And
oh, good job.
that was just XP, I think. There might be one floating down there. We'll give it a second and see if it comes up.
I think they see something floating. I'm gonna go to. Is that a fish? I think there's one here. There it is.
Good,
nope,
good.
It's the fish.
That's because the dolphin's out here doing stuff. Oh, I fell down.
It's so much brighter when you're in the water because of your light and my light.
Yeah. Well, I have my shaders.
Right,
I have the fog. I have an underwater fog turned off, so it's beautiful down here.
Oh yeah, and it's like pretty. I have a little bit of a reflection that I haven't quite figured out for the water. Like it looks better at night than during the day.
Yes.
It's a little foggy during the day in the water. Or not like looking at the water, I should say.
Yeah.
I like the dolphins here because it's like super fast swim.
Get the dolphin's grace. It's so awesome. Oh, wow. We did all that naked, too. No armor. Yeah, whatever. It's fine. It's fine.
It didn't hurt our armor any.
Okay, here are... Actually, I'm going to go put them in your chest.
Oh, that'd be great. Thanks. The infinity bows.
There's a power 4 infinity flame unbreaking 3 for ya. And a regular infinity in case you just want to put that on another bow. So you can repair that first one and it's a great bow. Because I've got power 4 unbreaking 3 infinity as well.
Yeah, I have a mending unbreaking 3. And I have a power 4 bow.
Yeah, you can't put infinity on a bow with mending. They can't be on the same bow.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
But if oh yeah, I'll keep that. But I do have a power. I have a power 4. So I guess I can combine it with that and that'll be a power 5 infinity. them breaking through. That'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah. I would fix
Perfect.
one of them first before you combine them so that you end up with a fully repaired bow.
Yep.
I think it's cheaper to do that, possibly. Ooh, the shaders are making things a little squirrely today. Okay, I thought I would have a lot more stuff in my inventory, but apparently I haven't been fishing as much as I've been just jawing. Chatting.
Okay. Oh, you.
Which is good. Oh, should we go see the creeper farm?
Yeah, but we can do that during daylight.
Okay. So when the sun comes up, we'll go see that. I'm just looking at the clock. We're about 8 minutes from needing to stop for today.
Okay.
But sun should be
I told your
up.
mom I'd be over there at 11, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kirk says LOL. It went by fast because we were chatty.
Yep. But we're being introspective, or yeah.
They're back.
Like that.
Okay, he did not have one.
There we go. That was definitely one.
Definitely. Okay, good. Because I was afraid that the shaders made it not visible when they dropped. I'm glad to see that's not the case.
I think maybe the angle makes a difference. I don't know.
No, it's just a looting chance like anything else. Okay. Let me put this in the mob drops. And then we can go take a look at the creeper farm.
Okay. Just the spawn rates are slightly better during the day, because even though I've lit up a lot of this stuff.
Oh yeah, there's not stuff on the surface. It's coughing. Kirk says he just bought a movie. It's not a great movie, but it's one of your favorites, and it was on sale. Now you got to tell us what movie it is. Even if it's not great. I have a lot of those that are my favorites, but they're not great movies. Like Overboard with Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. I will watch that. I don't even care when it's on. Planet of the Apes. He loves the makeup. It makes him think of his grandfather in Saturday mornings. That's awesome. Okay, I'm going down somewhere. Is there a drop? That looks scary.
Go on.
Meow, sploosh. Ooh, it's all decorated down here. I can't see crap in there. One creeper.
Well,
perishing in the... No, I know. Wow, that's awesome. Look at all the gunpowder. Here comes another one.
Is there another one?
Oh, there are bats too. I forget about the bats.
Yeah, I don't...
There's really no way to deal with them. Yeah. Oh, we have 3 drops now. I forget. There are 3 places creepers can fall to their demise.
Here and the center would be the most because you've got 2 sides. But,
sure.
Yeah.
Oh, it's awesome. Completed, decorated. Super easy. They just fall into a water stream. And then into the fires. And the campfires do not destroy the drops. They just go... Those are on top of hoppers in case it was unclear. Just hoppers into barrels.
And it's not the most efficient, but that's not bad though, right?
Dude, that's like a barrel's worth of gunpowder in here if you add them all up.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, or at least 2 rows of gunpowder. That is not too shabby. And
Hey, buddy.
oh, this is another drop area. Yeah. Very, very cool. I'm so glad to see it finished after all of our digging.
Yes.
It's amazing. And all the trapdoor. There's so many trapdoors. Oh my god.
There are, and I think there may still be like 1 or 2 missing.
Yeah.
So, but I haven't seen like. I had to go and repair some because I did get. I got some bone and some zombie flesh, which told me that I was missing some. So I had to go back in and light it up and repair it. It's not a fun thing to repair, I'll tell
I
you
was
that.
just gonna say, yeah. Scariness.
Mm-hmm.
And did you successfully clip these vines? I'm guessing you did. Do you use shears on them? They stop growing, right?
Yes, but I don't know if there's a way to stop it and have a light by having one. So these are 2. Because when you clip it with the shears, it knocks off the berry.
The berry. Okay, so you have to have 2
I
at
think.
minimum. Yeah, I kind of think you're right. Because I don't think they're going to grow a berry on that end vine.
And then I think that if you use bone meal, which will create the berry, then it creates the growth again. Like, I think that undoes the clipping. I'm going to have to experiment with that. I just know that this worked, and it still gets me my light, and
yeah,
I'm happy with that.
Yeah. I think that's the key. Well, then are we on moss block or moss carpet?
Moss block.
Okay.
That's one of the reasons why it's all lit up is because...
Spawnable, yeah.
Yeah, and I got this, like, there's a little section up here that it was the... what was it called? The glowberry farm?
Lush Cave.
Lush Caves. There we go.
Yep.
Lush Caves. Yeah. It's super lit up. Like, I mean, everything's like at 15, but I didn't want anything spawning down here, man.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Well, eventually the bats went into the fire, so...
Yeah, they do. They kind of kamikaze in there.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's worth... They don't go all the way up. They're not like spiders. So,
at least they're cuter now. With their little big bat ears.
Yeah, I think they are careening to their death mainly.
Yeah.
But it does create quite a few. I mean, this makes a good bat spawner too.
I was gonna say if we ever need a bat spawner, this is it. Yeah, because there's 2 again up there.
Yeah.
There's comes another creeper. Oh look, actual.
Yeah, you just gotta. So they can spawn. Okay, the reason why it's set up as 4 is that you can spawn up to 4 each time it wants to spawn.
Mm-hmm.
And so it looks for a place for them to hit to grow or spawn. There we go.
Yeah.
And that's why I did 4 blocks across to try to encourage it to spawn 4 at a time.
Oh, I gotcha.
But they don't. Yeah, they don't move quite as much. Like if we had, like the closer you are to them, if you're within 25 blocks, then they'll start moving. Like I just saw some that were just kind of hanging out.
Yeah. This is
and then,
why
like, going by them.
Yeah, walking by them makes them fall. Like the middle one is starting to get a bunch.
Yeah, that's why I went up and down the...
Yeah, this is why I had a creeper coaster in my creeper farm. Just to make it go faster. But I think these rates are fine. Like, we're not going to need millions of gunpowder. This is great. This is just we'll need it for, you know, a chest or 2 stacks of TNT.
Mm-hmm.
And then rockets for days. And I don't think we'll ever run out, really. And we aren't even, like, we haven't even been to the end or anything or been to the nether significantly. So this is good. Like, we're starting the automation in preparation for the future things. I love bubble columns. Yay, yay, yay. What did you use? Did you use signs or glass? Use glass. That's cool.
I use glass. Yeah, I went ahead and put the chain here because I wanted to use that glass to kind of keep you a little bit to one point, like where you don't flounder around and accidentally not hit something wet.
Miss the water. Yeah. I'm good at that. I'm very good at that.
Yeah.
How's our iron farm doing?
Yeah, come take a look.
Because I was watching golems be dispatched in the distance. That is not too shabby.
Oh. And I added something for you. If you look over to the right of... There's a crafting table now.
Oh, I see it. I can't reach it because of the fence, but I see it. Oh, I see.
It's reachable. Okay. Yeah.
I thought it was on the other side. Awesome. Okay, so we can craft right here. I love it.
Yeah. I changed the design a little bit because I didn't like the chains. So, like, what do you think of this?
I love it with the wall instead and the solid woods. It looks like a bonfire. Like, it's fantastic. Goodbye, Mr. Golem. Thank you for the iron.
Yeah, it is slower, but not too bad. Like, faster way to kill him, obviously, is lava. But this, I think this works just as well.
It works awesome. I'm getting a little bit of frame rate lag. I'm wondering if it's all the trapdoors in the creeper farm. That's okay. We don't live here permanently, so.
Yeah. I haven't noticed any issue, but I did want to show you. I did start digging out our mine this way.
Oh, okay, cool.
And look at all the eggs we have. We're almost 4 more stacks and all.
Yeah.
And I'll close that off and call it a day.
I think that's a good surplus to have. It's a barrel full.
Oh, it's almost getting dark.
Why'd it get dark again? Weren't we just running out at dawn? I don't even know.
I know. I guess we were just mesmerized.
Yeah.
So I have stuff here.
Cool.
And then here's a quick bed. It's not quite time. Almost. Is it bed yet? There we go. Not that a bed is exciting, but only because it's like getting dark.
Yeah.
Okay. Nope. I got lost. Okay, back out this way. This is the main
drag.
Main drag. I mean, it's just I'm trying to make it nice and big for you.
Thank you, because we're gonna decorate it.
So I got down to this level and I heard a Enderman.
Yeah.
So I followed it down.
Ooh, lush cave. Nice. Okay.
And since I found this, I went ahead and there was a axolotl here earlier. So I collected a bunch of axolotls in buckets for us from here. That's that
awesome?
I guess they come and go. I went too far away and they disappeared.
Yeah, they probably despawned. There's another Enderman hanging out down here. Always with the Enderman. Okay, cool. So I think what we might do. Oh yeah, good. You turn the other direction and kept going down. Good, good.
Yeah, I just made this a level, and then yeah.
And what level are we on here? 26. That's good. That's a good digging level too. Because there's
I just started getting to the black stone or whatever that is down here.
Yeah, deep slate, but yes.
Deep slate, yeah.
Blackstone's the nether. You were close. Very close.
That's right. That's right. So
Okay, cool. I need to work on this off camera. I still have not done the nether portal thing. I was going to do that today, but we have been derailed by schedules. So
yep, your mom kept you from having your
thing.
teapot because that was on my schedule for yesterday.
Yeah, that's all right. I think we'll live. Okay, that's awesome.
Although I guess
that there's a lush cave there.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do this classic mine shaft like the other one. Maybe it'll be jungle mine shaft. We'll use jungle wood because I think that's what I have the most of.
Cool. Cool.
Maybe sandstone too. Because
I think that would be good.
We still have a bunch of sand from digging out things.
We do.
Maybe jungle with sandstone accents.
Yeah. And this goes both ways. It kind of loops around. So.
Oh, yeah.
This entrance. Yeah. It can be cleaned up, but it does loop around.
Awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad. Blah, 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 blah. Kirk says, thanks in advance for the conversation. Great chat. Good luck at Winnie Moms. Have a great visit this weekend. Thank you. And lush caves are so pretty. Yeah.
Thank you, Kurt. Well, we're going to have a grand time.
We are. It'll be fun.
All right. I guess this means that we'll say goodbye and then I'll have to go to work.
Yeah, sadly. Okay. I'm just going to do it right here. Ding, 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 ding. And say thank you very much, everyone, for watching. We very much appreciate it. We'll see you again next Friday for this series. And I stream Monday and Wednesdays in Chosen's Modded Adventure Pack. So join me there, 8 a.m. Mondays and Wednesdays, 9 a.m. Friday. We'll be back next week. Sorry about the short stream, but you know, life is that way sometimes. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.